Welcome to Atom Software Updates 2024 winter release. My name is Mark Preco, President and Founder of Atom Software, and I will be presenting these updates to you today. To begin, we have the miscellaneous items, EF data import for Crosslink, that is now should be working. So in these updates, we have some enhancements and we have some fixes. Nothing like what we just went through with the last update. This is a very small update. Filters, I'm going to go ahead and minimize the outline here. Go into my assigned tasks to show you an example of a filter. So last update, we had all kinds of, we basically took a lot of fields and put them in filter buttons. So if you have a filter turned on, so I'm going to switch this, the default is my name. I'm going to switch this over to Dave to filter. It'll now indicate that with a red button up here that just alerts you that a filter is turned on. So we did that with many of the filter buttons throughout the software. Let me go back to my home page here. Tooltip label. What I mean by that, if you hover over some icons, this little tooltip would pop up. Some of these were sticking. That's been fixed now. The prospect portal. Let me pull our prospect portal up here from our tax business. All we did is change, this used to say subject, now it says how can we help you? Just a little addition there to the prospect portal. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Client portal. Let's jump into our client portal here. So the balance due card, this is showing right here $520. Now it can show your link clients also for a total balance due, not just for this individual person. So to do that, obviously you have to link the client together, and then you have to then allow it to be linked on the client portal too. There's just a little checkbox you do inside the file. So now when I click on the balance due card, it's going to show me the total. So I have John Casey owes me $200 and his business owes me $320. To get to the $320, I just select from this drop down here, and now I can go ahead and make my payment for JTC Communications. He also has Aaron Casey linked, but there's a balance due of 0 for that individual. We'll go back to John. Now let's go to my documents card here. So I have one new card. If I click on this, or my e-sign card also, when I click on it, it's going to show all my years, not just, before it would just show the latest year. Now it's going to show all years, because I could put a document in there for a prior year. So it was hard for the client to see that. So now it's going to show all, and then it's going to highlight them in yellow. So when I click on documents, it's showing all years. And this is the one, city notice, it was for 2022. These are the e-signs. They're highlighted in yellow because there was 2 e-signs, one's for 20, one's for 2022. But it's going to be easy for your clients to see those, whereas before it defaulted to the current year. Made it a little more difficult for them. Going down to my documents at the bottom, the year column, we added a year column here to make it easier to stay organized. If somebody were to, when your client uploads a document to you, the year column would now be blank. So if someone were to upload a document, it'll be blank. So it won't until you move it to the right year. So if they're uploading a document now, you probably want to move it to the year 2023, but it actually would be blank. And we already covered the highlighting down at there, page 1. Let's move over to page 2, make a payment. Let's go back to my home page here in the portal. So I'm going to make a payment. So I'm on make a payment screen. We're now introducing, there's a tip page. So your clients can now leave you a tip. So some of them may be tipping you already. This is a more formal process on the portal where they'll actually have a tip page. So this is something you can turn on, turn off. I have it on right now, it's enabled. So if they either click credit card or e-check, our tip page is going to pop up. So we already have these numbers are hard coded, you can't change it. Obviously, if this is successful, going into next year's update will allow you to edit it and make whatever tip amount you'd like. But because this is new, we're just starting out with a low amount. We don't know how our clients are going to react to it. But we just figured because it's such a tip world now, why not give it a try? So they can custom tip, they can say no tip. The nice thing is with this being on the client portal, you as a preparer, you're not in front of the client, and the client, they're not in front of you. So there's basically no pressure. They can leave a tip or they don't leave a tip. When they do leave a tip, let's say it's $5, it'll go right here to the credit card screen, tip amount. In this case, I have a credit card convenience fee added in here. They just fill this out just like normal. And then when they process it, a tip transaction will be recorded in the transaction section inside the client file. And then I also have a report you can run to see the total tip and then how much you're receiving from the portal. Obviously, there's only tips on the portal right now. And then which employee is receiving the tip, so you could then pay that out. Again, this is something you can turn on and turn off. Where's my refund? Let's go back here. All we did is we added some highlighting here, so acknowledgments and refund amounts will be highlighted in green. If it's a rejected acknowledgement, it'll highlight in red. If it's a balance due, it'll highlight in red also. Home page. I'm here on page 2 again. Now on the home page, we'll go ahead and minimize my portal. And fax. All we did is, for those that have the fax capability in Atom, you can now upload larger files. It was capped at 8 megabytes. Now you can exceed 8 megabytes in size. Office events categories added. Over here to your left here, actually, let me get out of here. Over here on my lobby check-in, or actually, I'm sorry, right up here. Let me go back. This is what it looks like probably for you. The way you were separating things to make it more visually pleasing, you're probably using the separators. Now you can add event categories. So this is all done in admin under event categories, and then you create your categories, and then you identify which events are related to that category in your admin event status. So that's what these are right now. So we've pretty much just replaced the separators and put these categories in. So if you have your events kind of grouped together, you can now have an event category to make it easier for your staff to see where things are. Office event column changes, refund method. Let me scroll down here to, wait, now it's to fund the bank. Over here under refund method, if you guys are doing bank products, if you have approved refund advances, they'll highlight in green. The declined refund advance will highlight in red. Just make it easier to see what's going on by adding some color. Scheduled appointment column. Go back to my home page here. And we'll go to, excuse me, lobby. So if it's due now, so if the appointment is due now, and the definition of due now is 15 minutes prior to the appointment date or time and 15 minutes after. So it's a 30-minute window. It's considered due now. It's going to highlight in red. Due today is highlighted in yellow. And then past due is highlighted in purple. So easy way to keep track of your appointments if you're using the events to do that. That's at the bottom of page 2. Let's go to page 3. Punch clock and employee hours. All we did is we added the user field back. It was removed in the last update, at least those people that were not admin. So now everyone would see their name up here. Calendars. No change to the calendar. What I want to point out when I open this up here, I don't know if I showed this in the last update, but you can drag by just left clicking at the top, and you can drag the window. So otherwise it's going to be covering this individual, this preparer over here. So that's how you can drag it and you can make your appointment. So then you can see the whole calendar. reports. The new report is the tip summary. So if you are going to do that, obviously you want to run the report to see how much money you're getting from this tips to see if it's successful or not, and then to pay out. Just remember, you have to, in admin, you'll have to turn that report on to allow it to show up in your reports. So it's like report permissions. And in admin here, we have a few fixes. So I'm on the bottom of page 3, batch messages. So we had an issue if you send out a batch portal message and you attached a file, your clients were not able to see that. They were getting an error message. That is now fixed with this update. Event status and office events, the separators. So if I were to go back here to insurance, these separators right here, you were not able to edit those in our last update that we did. You couldn't delete them, you couldn't move them. Now you can do that. So that's been fixed. Moving on to page 4. Now I'm going inside my client file, going to John here. Up here at the top header bar, the quick actions drop down, we added billable time and log hours, so you can quickly get to those pages before you kind of had to dig in for those that use those. The sidebar, again, this is just a reminder. I saw some users at some tax seminars, and I saw this a lot where they kept popping back and forth. Even my staff was doing this. I said, you can freeze that by just clicking on the show hide, and then it stays. So I never have it collapse. That's just the way I prefer it. I just want to make sure you guys know that you don't have to have it go back and forth. The only time I collapse it is when I'm viewing Adam on my phone. So that's just a reminder, in case you didn't know that. The events, let me move over here to 2021. So the event complete is now going to highlight in blue, make it easier for you to see. On page 4 again, here in the middle, events pop-up box. So if I come here and I hit, right now I'm in, let me go back to 2022. I'm in the lobby. So I'm going to go add event. I'm going to move this to pending client. I want to point this out. Now this status drop down, this is what it'll look like if you add the event category. So the event category will show first and then the name of that event. That's how it'll display in this drop down. I'm going to pending information status, pending client. So, oops, you know what? I had this set up. I want to show you something. Bear with me just for a second here. I got to remove these fields right here in account information. Oh, I'll leave it in person. I'm going to get rid of the referral. I'm going to save this. Sorry about that. I thought I had this set up. I have this set up. These are required fields based on which event I'm in. So once I go past tax prep office, I want my preparers to put in the difficulty, the prep time, and also referral type. So now when I go back to, or just right from here, I hit add event, and I'm going to try to move it from the lobby, and I'll move it to pending. So I'm going to get an error message saying that you have some required account fields that need to be added before you can move it to that event. So before I had to do that, I had to go back to account information and then fill those in. Now I can do it from my pop-up screen. I just scroll down here, and here are my required fields. So I'll add difficulty, which is going to pre-fill the prep time, and my referral type. And now I can go ahead, and I think I have to put a note in here. Now I can save it, and now I can move it. So that makes it quicker that I can change it to any event because I can add those fields right on my pop-up box. So that makes that nice. Client notification column moved. So let me go now to my events. So with this new update that we had before, our things got a little larger. So if your screen isn't that big, you had to scroll over to the right to send your predefined notification. We moved that column over here closer to the assigned date. So now you don't have to worry about scrolling to the right. And we moved a column settings, which we think is probably the least used. So in order to do that, you just have to scroll. But I think for the most part, you don't have to worry about that. So it should make it easier to send your predefined notifications. Moving down to transactions. The only thing I want to point out here is that if you, on the portal, if you do leave a tip, or your clients leave a tip, the transaction tip, which is new, will automatically be recorded here. And that's just so you can run these reports to see how much tip money you're getting and who the preparer is. Also in the I just want to point out, if this tip, if it's successful, again, this is brand new. I don't know how this is going to work, if it's going to be a turnoff to our clients or not. But we're also in the process of working on integrating a contactless credit card terminal, which will have tipping capabilities. That's not the only reason we're doing it. We're also doing it just because it's quicker and easier to process payments, as opposed to doing it how we're doing it now. You might have a little swiper or your hand keying the card number in. This credit card terminal will be very fast, where they can use their phone. They can tap just to make it so you don't have to touch the card at all. Also, it should be a cheaper rate too, because now we'll be able to do what's called card present. So the rate will actually be less too than what you're paying now. So we'll let you know once we get that up and running. It's in development right now. I just wanted to point that out because we're talking about tipping. So that's how we would capture that other market that's actually sitting in front of you, or paying as they come pick up. EF database, let me pull that up here. The only thing here is that, again, we added some color to make it easier to see things. So you'll know which record you have selected. It'll highlight in yellow. So this, I have the 1040. If I move down here to New Jersey 1040 and clicked on the view, it would highlight the record in yellow here, so I know which record I'm looking at. The accepted, the refund amount, those will highlight in green. If it was rejected, it would highlight in red. And if it's a balance due, it would highlight in red also. And we have that for state and city too. If it was a refund advance, up here under federal refund method, this would highlight in green. If it was a declined refund advance, it would highlight in red. So an approved refund advance would highlight in green, and a declined refund advance would highlight red. Approved green, declined red. And that is the bottom of page 4. So these were a quick group of changes, some good ones that will help hopefully make your office run smoother. And we had some fixes that we apologize with the last update. They slipped through and we didn't catch them. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great tax season. I hope Adam helps your office run smoother. You do more returns and you get with less hours. That's the whole goal. And we look forward to introducing a whole group of new changes, next summer and fall again. So thank you again for all your support and your loyalty. Thank you.